Hello all, if you are into a Internet of Things domain, or if you are trying to enter into the Internet of Things domain, you need to know the architecture of the Internet of Things. What do you mean by basically architecture? So we always talk about OSI layer, right? For the internet, correct? So similarly, in IoT, we have several layers, um, and these layers have their specific functionality and comprise the IoT model together. So, if we talk further, the first thing which comes is the device layer, which can also be called sensor layer, or it can also be called a perception layer. What do you mean by this? So, this is the layer where the entire data is being captured from the medium. Like you have temperature sensor, you have humidity sensors, you have um, magnetic sensors, or you have sensors which can be used in the agriculture, or any other sensors that we talk are part of this particular layer. So these layer comprises all the sensing devices, and these sensing devices are the starting point where data starts in Internet of Things. This is the base. And then the second layer is called network layer. What does this mean? So, the data that is being captured in the sensor layer, which is also called a device layer, is transferred to other layers using the network layer. So, the sensors that we have are basically reading the data, and we are pushing out the data to the cloud, right? That's what we do in the IoT. So we have to have network or set of protocols, or various APIs that are present, or it could be a simple wired interface. Forget about having a wireless interface and talking too much. So a simple Ethernet kind of interface. So this layer basically provides the network support and helps us transfer data that is read from the sensors to the next layers, or to the required destination. So these particular devices could be a Wi-Fi device, Bluetooth device, or it could be the MQTT protocol that is associated, any socket programming. All these comprise the network layer. So we can also talk about the 3G, 4G, 5G, Zigbee, and all associated with this particular layer. So this is the layer which forms network to the next level from the low level. And then post network layer, we have something called processing layer. So processing layer is basically a layer which captures the data, and it processes the data. Processes mean the data that is the raw data that is being transmitted from the sensors through the network layer is processed in the processing layer, and this data is basically segregated, or processed based on the requirements of the IoT device that we are using. So this layer is what helps provide all the required functionalities or the decisions that need to be taken in a IoT network. So example, let us assume I have a sensor which basically captures the moisture level of a soil. So we will be transmitting continuous data to this processing layer, and this processing layer processes the data, and it actually tries to um, see when the moisture is less and try to water your plants. A simple application, right? So we actually have things board kind of scenarios where we have data that is being captured there and displayed, correct? And the last layer which we are talking basically is called application layer. So application layer is something which is the actual application that is associated with the IoT. Like example, we want to have a smartphone, sorry, smart home, where we have all the sensor data that is being collected and analyzed, and basically we want to display the sensors, or we want to take further actions. So all these happen at the application layer. So when we talk about smart homes, when we talk about farming, or when we talk about smart cities, all these form part of the application layer. So these four layers basically form the basis of IoT architecture. And then um, we always talk about IoT as data being transmitted, data being processed, and decisions being taken based on the processing, right? While transmitting the data in between various scenarios, whether it be sensor to the example, a 4G device, and from 4G device to the cloud. So there is a level of data theft that might happen, right? So in any of these layers, security is a very very important aspect. So apart from these four layers, security forms another important aspect in an IoT architecture. And it's not just the security, it's also the management that should happen. For example, at the low level, you might have various sensors, and you need to read them at a specific intervals, and you need to transmit through the wireless devices at specified time intervals, rather than playing around in a uncontrolled manner, right? You have to manage everything in a proper way to extract maximum functionality out of the architecture we have, or the application that is being built on top of the existing scenarios. So that is where the management plays a very crucial role. So apart from device layer, network layer, processing layer, application layer, the sensor and management also play a very crucial role in IoT applications.